Now it's time for me to set the bar even higher, you know, do something like that. But my goal was to set the bar so high that there was nobody coming after me that was going to be able to do that. That was just my mindset. And like I said, being on JV gave me that time to really sit back and take a couple years to look like, all right, this is what you got to do. Look at the work they put in. This is what you got to do. This is what it's going to take. And like you can ask like Rod and like all my boys and them, like I was low key committed to that high school, like in high school, that grind, like that summertime, going out there running 110s, like hitting the weight room. Like I was committed to that because I seen the success that the people before me had, and I was like, yo, I want that. Like I need that for real. So you gonna get that 24 easy. Then I started doing my researches. You know what I mean? I'm looking up University of New Hampshire. You know what I mean? Spread no huddle team. I'm like, as a receiver, spread no huddle. You know what I mean? Hey, that's what you want. You know what I mean? As a running back, you want to go to a team that's going to run the eye. As a receiver, you want to go to a team that's going to spread it out and air it out. And I went out senior year, and we just took it to a whole nother level, bro. I was a whole nother level. And that's when I really turned up. I set records. I set records at UNH that year. I broke Jerry Rice, because Jerry Rice played Division I AA, and I broke his receptions record.
You feel like you solidified your place there as being one of the greats at UNH for sure. It's no question from what it sounds like.
Yeah, I would say so. Like, there's been, you know what I mean, there's been some like UNH is the smallest school, but there's been some dudes that came through UNH that's been, you know, prominent names. Probably the biggest name is Corey Graham. You know, he played with the Eagles. He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. He's won a Super Bowl with the Patriots, I believe. You know what I mean? He's been a team captain for a couple NFL teams. He's you know, he's probably the biggest name. But I would say, like, after him, I would be up there with that group of guys that really took UNH to another level and left a lasting imprint in that school.
You got it. You got it.
That shit light, fool. That shit light, cheese. Shit. After everything I did in college, bro, I thought I sealed myself as I thought I guaranteed myself to be drafted, bro. I thought I was going to the combine. I thought I was getting drafted. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I just did all this, bro. I broke Jerry Rice records, bro. I'm like, yo, I'm getting drafted. I'm going to, like, league is next step. I'm going to the league, bro. And it ain't work like that for me, bro. I didn't get a combine invite. I didn't get an invite to the Senior Bowl. I didn't get, you know what I mean? I didn't get drafted, you know what I mean? So it was like literally 4.5 years after everything I went through with in high school, trying to get recruited to go to D1. 4.5 years later, it's the same thing.
Same thing, yep.
Yo, too slow. Like, you can't play at the next level. You just don't got it. Like, you went to a Division I AA school. You know what I mean? And it all sounded too familiar to me, bro. And I'm like, yo, I heard this 4.5 years ago, trying to get recruited to college, and look what happened. So now look, it's the same thing. So I just put my head down and I just grinded harder, bro. Just went harder. And I went down to Florida. I went to Florida. I trained in Florida for 3 months, bro. I just packed all my stuff up. I graduated in December. I packed the 4 or 5 bags I had down in New Hampshire, and I went straight to Florida, bro. And I was staying in the hotel. I was staying in the hotel in Florida. I was training 6 days a week, bro. I was training from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, 6 days a week.
Yep.
Get your own little routine and shit.
Yeah.
And bro, at the end of the draft came, and I was devastated, dog. I ain't gonna lie. I was in the crib. I was crying, bro. You know what I mean? I broke down. I was hurt. You know what I mean? I did all that work. I put all that work in, and I was like, yo, I felt that I deserved to be drafted, but it didn't work like that for me, bro. So I didn't have time to cry long. Next thing I know,
Exactly.
all the free agent calls are coming in. My agent called me. He's like, "Oh," he said, "the Saints want to sign you." He said, "The Rams still want to bring you in as an undrafted free agent." And I had about 4 or 5 teams call me and tell me they want to be in. They wanted me to come to camp with them. So my next thing was I had everybody that was in the crib. I had them all go on their phone and look up the rosters of all the teams and look at their wide receivers. Like, look who they just drafted. Look who they had already. And we all like, oh, let's see, like who they got. And then I spoke with my agent and we looked at the rosters for the Saints, and I was like, yo, the Saints might be the best opportunity. That might be the best position for you to get a good opportunity that you're looking for. So I called my agent and I said, look, let's do the Saints.
Trying to do all he can to stick around this time. Harris, an undrafted free agent, spent the first half of last season on the Saints practice squad.
When I got there, everything was so like, I was so in awe, bro. I was in awe. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I was in awe. Like, being from, from the area we from, and you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't too many dudes that made it big. And the biggest names that we did have weren't that big of names at that level. My first year, like, I felt like I was in a position where I didn't belong. You know what I mean? Like, I was lucky to just have made it there. You know what I mean? And I kind of lost that dog mentality. Like, I'm just here, like, by the skin of my teeth. Like, do I really deserve to be here? And I was kind of taking, like, a passive approach to everything. I was still doing my thing. I was able to make practice squad. I was able to stay up there. I got released. After I got released, I ended up going to the Falcons. I signed with Atlanta. I was on with the Falcons. So I went from Drew Brees and Brandon Cooks to Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot. Like, I was in the locker room. I was in the meeting rooms with Julio. I was at practice every day with Julio Jones. You feel me? So
it goes right back to the high school thing where you was taking in all of the notes when the guys were in front of you, understanding the process.
Bro. Just learning, bro. Yeah. And then my second year, I went back, and I kind of got that dog mentality back to me. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, I'm making it this time. Like, this is gonna be my year. Yeah. But just the nature of the business, it didn't work out for me. But after I got released from there, that's when I started exploring my options up north. I started exploring the CFL connections and things like that. And once I got to the CFL, once I decided to sign with the CFL, was about the time that my daughter, that Tiff, I got pregnant. That was around that time. So then that right there alone, that's when that whole dog mentality, that's when that thing came right back, just like that. I had a mouth to feed. That I had a baby girl on the way, bro. That right there, that took me back. That took me back to that hard work that I put in. To all them people telling me no in high school that I was too slow. To everybody in the NFL telling me I was too slow. That alone, bro. That alone took my motivation and my work ethic and just took it to another level, bro. Like that, because. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. It was different when I was playing for myself. You know what I mean? I was always a self-motivated person, just based on myself. You know what I mean? I can motivate myself. Like, I don't need someone to tell me something to get me to get up and want to work. I can do that myself. And I've always been that type of person. I'm extremely self-motivated. But when you have external factors, like outside factors that are really meaningful that you need to work for, man, I'll tell you, it ain't nothing like it. It ain't nothing like it, bro. And my external factor was my daughter. And, like, it's like either you do this or it's the real world for you. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with the real world. It ain't nothing wrong with it at all. But I knew that, that external force for me was my daughter. Like, when I go to the gym, that's what I think about. Like, that's what I put the work in for.